Little Nightmares 2 is a puzzle platform horror adventure game developed by Tarsier Studios and published by Bandai Namco Entertainment. It is a prequel to Little Nightmares 2017. The story follows Mono, who must work together with Six, the protagonist from the previous game, to survive the horrors of the Pale City and discover its dark secrets. Now, Little Nightmares 2 consists of 35 trophies, which are 16 bronze, 15 silver, 3 gold, and 1 Nightmarish Platinum trophy. Now, on PlayStation profiles, this is apparently a 3 out of 10 difficulty, a 1 playthrough is required, and 6 hours completion time. Now, although you can do this in 1 playthrough and get all the trophies and everything, that would require a guide, obviously, which will spoil some of the game for you, so my advice is play through it naturally, and then you can clean up miscellaneous trophies via chapter select. Now we start off at the old farmhouse with what I'd like to describe as an asthmatic postman Pat, who for some reason wants to kill us, but as you can see in this trophy, which you cannot miss, we end up shooting him in the ballsack, I think. So I think all in all, it all fares out quite well. After the tragedy of Postman Pat, we then of course have to move on to chapter 2, which is quite a longer chapter, in all honesty. I mean, I think chapter 2 and 3 are the longest. Maybe 3 and 4. I'm not quite sure. But it's the school of the porcelain children. They are a bit boisterous. As you can see, Six is making friends with one of them right here. And then, of course, we have Mrs. Slenderneck. She does want to teach us a couple of biology lessons, but unfortunately for us, we've got other stuff we need to do. We need to move on. So, although she's keen, well, I'll say this, she's very, very keen. We unfortunately have to move on, which is the next chapter, which is chapter 3. By the way, there's only 5 chapters in this game. That's why it's so short. And the next chapter, for me, is probably my most hated one, which is the hospital. But deliciously, we have to stop for one unmissable trophy, which is Six finally revealing who she really is and giving us that famous yellow raincoat. Then, of course, we're welcomed by the hands of God himself, or cousin thing from the Addams family. It's up to you what you want to decide on that one. Hands and mannequins. That's the first thing that threatens us in chapter 3, which ain't too bad considering the things to come. And the things to come, obviously, are Mr. Blobby. R is, I don't know, my grammar's not that great, but as you can see, it's Mr. Blobby in all of his glory, which we'll love and enjoy. But unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. Henceforth, we're about to see him become Colonel Sanders in a weird way, because he's going to become Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now we can all put an F in chat for Mr. Blobby and have a minute's silence and think about our fallen foes. Anywho, moving swiftly on, we go on to chapter 4, which is full of the Tellyheads. I don't know what to call them. If you know the names, fill me in, by all means. But let's take a look at our first one. And there he is in all his glory. And this, kids, is why you should never get too close to the television. Not only will it give you square eyes, it will give you sore eyes. Most importantly, for God's sake, don't do what this guy is doing and have any electricals or electronics in the bath. This is the end of chapter 4, and of course, the second to last antagonist. I'm not going to tell you who this is or who the next one is. You'll have to find out for yourself. For everybody who bought this on PlayStation 4, it is a free PS5 upgrade, which is a bargain because, you know, 2 platinums for the price of 1. Who doesn't love that? I realise this is a cheap and easy platinum and short, and yes, I platinumed it twice. I didn't. You can't stack these, by the way. I've got to say you can't stack them. You have to play both of the versions twice if you want the platinum. But it's well worth doing. So yeah, and I know it's easy. I deliberately did an easy one because I'm working on some really hard ones before I do a video on them. So I'm just putting something out there. So if you like it, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and for everything else, you've got Jesus. Peace.